Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Amateur Repair Time. If you didn't see our previous video, we are working on this New Haven Cunard line 8-day gingerbread clock. Cunard, C-U-N-A-R-D. Apparently that was named after a ship line. I've never heard of it. But we looked it all up in the first video, figured out what was going on with it, and then it had the wrong movement with it. That movement was not installed. It just came with it. I bought it at an estate sale for $10, $15, something like that. So we spent a lot of time in a previous video trying to figure out the mystery of exactly what's going on there. And we kind of figured out by looking at a bunch of pictures online exactly what model movement I think was originally in the thing. And it's got a replacement dial on it, but the problem is it looks like at some point they mounted a different movement and put different mounting holes whenever they did that, and that new movement, we could just put it back in there, but it's the wrong one. It's fun to me to try to make it back how it originally was. So, all that to say, that different movement, the dial won't work on it. So I looked through a bunch of older dials that I had, and I found this one, which is an old New Haven dial plate, face plate, whatever. That's seen better days, but I don't know what this came off of, but it should fit on this, and we looked it up, and it appeared to be exactly like the one that would have originally been on the clock. And I have a replacement paper dial there. So we needed the movement, the pendulum, the dial plate, and that we should be able to put that together to get this thing back in spec. So I have ordered not one, but two movements actually, because I saw two of them that appeared to be the correct ones on eBay. So that was the easiest way to do it. If you want to send us viewer mail, this is our address at the shop, by the way. 139 Caldwell Street, Rock Hill, South Carolina, 29730. You can send it in care of Joe It's Broke Lions. All right, let's see what's in here. So this is one of the movements that I ordered, but it's not a complete movement. This is just the first thing that came in. Well, let's pull all this crap out. I don't remember ordering all of this. There might be extras. I wonder if they sent me the wrong thing. What if it's not even right? So yeah, so I ordered one incomplete movement just because, well, I'll show you here in a minute. But I'm waiting on a full movement. It hasn't came in yet. Come on, it's your home. Okay, it's out. Let me make sure there's nothing else in here. There's nothing else in there. All right. So do you follow me? We need a replacement movement, the original style movement. We need a replacement pendulum, and we need to fix up the pan, put it all back, and then it will be back how it once was. So let's see what's in any of this. I have two shipments coming. Both should arrive during this video. Well, they wrapped it up well. No complaints there. All right. So this setup here had two movements with it. I didn't need this one, but I had to buy the whole lot, you know, and it came with this. So let's see what this even is. Is that a Hermle movement, I would guess? The hands have not been bent yet. That's for some kind of big clock. Now, if you didn't remember the video I did on that one, it had a similar movement in it. Something like that. You can just tell by the hands that it had a big old dial on it. Mason and Sullivan. Germany. No joules. 141070. I thought that was like a Hermle number. And then here is our hammer for the strike. Well, that's cool. I'll be able to use that on something. All right, so it's extra. So I had to pay, this was not cheap. It wasn't crazy. I'll just tell you. I'll go ahead and tell you the numbers. I did not get a great deal. So this was about $15 for all of this. So it's case in very nice shape. Still has the gong in it, which is good, but I think they may have moved it. See the holes under it? So that's good. And it came with a movement, which is a, what did we decide that was? An Ingram? It's an Ingram movement that's in nice shape, and an Ingram kind of replacement dial pan. So I'll be able to use that in another clock. It also has a, well, I think that's it. I think it didn't have the pendulum. So anyway, so all that came with all this for $15. Well, I would value that movement at about $15, you know, maybe a little more. And the dial pan, I was able to just use, you know, I've got this one that I already had, so I didn't have to pay for that. So I need the movement and the pendulum are going to be my expense, basically, right? So this set of stuff I paid $50 for. Again, a little heavy. I wouldn't have wanted to pay that, and that's shipped, right? I wouldn't have wanted to pay that much, but this movement I would say is worth $15, maybe $20 if I had a clock that I needed it for, but I don't, that I'm aware of. So that was just kind of extra. Let me lay it to the side and we'll look at this other stuff. So next up we have this here. So this is a gong, you know, that mounts in the bottom of a case, and it's a pretty nice one. I don't particularly need this, but I would value this at maybe $5. What do you think? That's worth $5. When I find the case that I need this for, I'll be happy to have it, and that'll be one that's in very nice shape. And that's vintage. I mean, this is probably, you know, just as old as this clock. I mean, it's probably a 100-year-old part. This is, I would guess, usually the ones with this mounting are in the, like the Napoleon style clocks, like the mantle clocks. I don't have one of those in here right now. So I think I would value that at $5. So we're probably in this setup. I've got $20 worth of value here. I got the movement that I don't really need, and I've got this gong that I don't really need. So I'm in $20 so far. But then we have this. Now this, I think they've got this mounted upside down. It's got a little dent in it. I didn't notice that, but oh well, I'll be all right. So this appears to be the original style pendulum, dent and all, but they've got it mounted on there backwards. Like this part should be up and this part should be down. So it would look like that, but this whole thing would be reversed, right? So these are usually about $25 shipped. So I would value that at maybe $20. Maybe a little less with the dent in it. I didn't notice that. Has it been painted or something too? I don't think so. But that'll be all right. Well, I guess it'll look like this, kind of. Tick tock, tick tock. It'll be okay. I'd value that at $20. I hate that dent though. How did I not see that? It's one of those things where I can hang it in there and use it, and then if I get a better one down the road, I'll swap it out. So we were in at 20, and then we were in this 20, I would say. But we needed this, and this was, there were other ones on there, but they were like $25 shipped. Albeit they probably didn't have the dent. Whatever, I'm moving right along. So we've got our pendulum now that we needed, and that's the original, that's a New Haven pendulum. So I think we have $40 worth of value here. I paid 50. Let me see what this is. Makes you wonder why some of this stuff comes together, but it's a pendulum for a Schatz, or I guess Schatz makes most of them, for a anniversary clock. So this hangs from the suspension, and then, you know, it slowly turns, and then it slowly turns back, and then it slowly turns back, then it slowly turns back. Unfortunately, they make a bunch of different versions of these, so it's hard to tell what this actually goes to, like which version or whatever. But I gotta tell you, I've got about a dozen of those clocks, and some of them are missing this. So is this the correct one for the one that I need? Who knows? Can you use the wrong one? Probably not, because they're so precise. I mean, you know, if you're not aware, the anniversary clocks are called that because they'll run for over a year without being wound. So this turns around for 400 days, you know. So it's got to be kind of precise. So if it's the slightly wrong one, it probably won't work right. So I don't know if I need this particular one, but yeah, that's probably worth $5, I would think. You know, if you're missing this, if this was the one that I need, I'd probably pay $15 for it, but we'll figure it's worth $5. So I'm in this stuff. I think I have $45 worth of value now, right? And then this should be the correct movement. But again, it's not the full movement. Sometimes I wonder where people get their packing material. Like, what is this? I mean, it works fine for what they're using it for, but like, where did that come from? Anyway, here it is. That does appear to be the correct movement. So what is it missing? Well, strangely, it's missing all the strike side stuff. So it's got the time side, but it doesn't have any of the strike side. What in the world? So why did I buy it knowing that it's incomplete? Well, I've actually got a bunch of loose gears. I don't know if I've got all the ones that it would take to, and when I say a bunch, I mean like 100 or so. So I don't know if I've got the correct ones, but I kind of like that this has the verge on it. And the escape wheel, you know, if you've got a screwed up escape wheel, you're in trouble. For my other, so I've got another full movement coming, right? But I kind of like that this is extra parts. So if I have a problem with the escape wheel or the verge, I have an extra one here. So I like that. Let's see, by the way, if it will. Yeah, it seems to be, I don't know. I was about to say it seems to be lining up properly, but yeah, it means walking. All right, so this will be our part one. And I've got a pendulum hanger here to kind of tell me the length that we might be looking for on the other one if the other one's screwed up. So let's see what it says. New Haven trademark. I don't see a drop symbolized anywhere. So if you didn't see the other video, oh, you know what? That is not in the right spot. That might be interfering with how it's walking, as I was saying. Yeah, see, it's catching a little bit. That may be the right verge, or it may not be. Who knows? Well, whatever. And if they do catch, usually it means that it needs to be pulled down a little bit. It's not adjusted quite right. It doesn't lock quite right. Okay, so we've got our great wheel here, I guess you'd call it, the first wheel. There's the second wheel. The third wheel. Fourth wheel. And escape wheel. And then we've got the, I guess, center wheel, or minute wheel, and then the hour tube, hour wheel. But yeah, the poor thing's had a bunch of stuff stolen off of it. This is a setup for the alarm, I believe. It probably is bent all to hell. It's probably supposed to be around here where it rides on something over here. But we looked in our pictures and ours wouldn't have originally had an alarm. Or I think the way I figured that out was, look at this. Yeah. I think the way I figured that out was there's no alarm holes in it. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I want to just lay this in there and see if it lines up with our screw holes like I believe it will. All right, so I've got it a little bit high, but you can see, and as we noticed in the previous video, see that little line under there? It's because this particular New Haven movement has a brace there. So it appears that maybe that went like that or something like that. Okay, and then let's see on the top. Yeah, that must have been it. Maybe something like that. These top hangers were probably just slightly bent, slightly different on the other one, the original one. So yeah, that's it. So that would have been our original style movement. And then we believe this would have been the original style face. Let's see if it lines up. Yep. Cool. And this would hang something like that. Very cool. Let me reverse this, fix it, put it back how it's supposed to be. Okay, so I think it's meant to be something like that. Very nice. We're going to replace the dial with that. Okay, so like I said, there's a complete other full movement coming, but I think what I'll do is go ahead and take this one apart and put it in the ultrasonic cleaner and just have all the parts clean for when the other one gets here. That'll allow me to inspect these plates, and once the other one gets here, I may be able to compare the parts for the strike side with the extra parts that I've got and maybe piece this one back together. We're probably missing 4 wheels and a governor, I would guess. So you've got your first wheel here. There's going to be a second one here, third one here, fourth one here, and the governor there. So it's missing 5 parts plus the actual spring that's on the big wheel. And I think that's it. We've probably got the governor. I've got a bunch of those. And it's one of those things where if I can figure out the exact parts I need and I see them online for $5 or $10, you know, or I see a lot of stuff that has 2 or 3 of those wheels in it, I'll just grab it. I've also got some other New Haven movements, but I don't have any that are this exact one. So I don't know if there's any parts that cross over off of other movements. But anyway, I'll disassemble it and put it through the ultrasonic, and we'll wait on the other one. All right, so this is what we've got. I guess maybe we clean it and then we can look at the see if it needs any bushings. We can test each wheel in it. I don't see any that are obviously wrecked. You may feel differently. There's our spring. I'm not good at telling if those are bad or not. I've had people suggest that they go bad after a while, you know. And obviously if they're broken, they're bad, but I can't tell if they're fatigued to the point that they're no good anymore. I haven't been able to figure that out yet. crutch, pendulum, suspension, or whatever you call it, pendulum leader, I believe they call it. 4 little nuts. The escapement wheel, which looks fine to me. I don't see any teeth that are screwed up. And the lanterns don't appear to have any considerable wear. Even the pinion, if that's what you would call it, on the end there, it looks pretty good. It needs to be polished, obviously. I don't know what they call this wheel. This is the one that turns minutes into hours. This is the this would be the what's the ship that went down when the guy that made the song about it, he said, "Where does the love of God go when the storm turns minutes into hours?" What's that line? Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. What's he say? Does anyone know where the love of God goes? Something about it turns the minutes into hours. It's such a great line. Anyway, this is the little wheel that turns minutes into hours. It goes beside the minute wheel and turns, let's see, how would that work? One way or the other, it turns the hour wheel. And then we've got the number 2 wheel, I suppose. I think this is the number 3 wheel, the number 4 wheel, and we looked at the escapement. So we've already been looking at this. We'll, like I said, we'll clean it and then we'll check it more carefully. And then, of course, we've got that other whole movement coming in. I got to tell you, though, I'll bet this thing doesn't even need any bushings. I might put one in if I find something rough, but they all look pretty good to me. I don't know that this thing got that much wear. And those are not replacement bushings like that. That's original. If you look at the back, it's never been drilled out. Same there. I don't see any on it. It hasn't had any replaced, unless that's like a, is that one of those pinches that they would use where they beat it a little bit? That might be what's going on. Like they punched it to tighten up the hole a little bit on that one and on that one. But I got to tell you, if that thing's still in good shape, I mean, if we get pretty good tolerance on it whenever I put it back together, I'm not going to put a bushing in that. I'll leave it alone, even though it has the punch. If you don't know about that, if you're an amateur like I am, years ago, they wouldn't drill that out and put a new bushing in it like we do now. They would take a stake, and they would put it beside the hole where it was elongated and beat it a little bit, and it would push the brass. It would flatten the brass back out to close up the hole a little bit. And it appears that's what that little dot is beside there. It's where they beat on it. See how that hole isn't round anymore? The edge of it's flat. And they've done the same on this one. Which ironically, or not ironically, which it just goes to show are the 2 wheels that wear usually. So anyway, but I think that movement looks like it's in great shape. All right, I'm going to dunk it in the ultrasonic cleaner, get it nice and shiny, and then we can test, like I said, each of the bushings. But we're waiting on our other movement. All right, folks, we've got our other movement in. Now, this one was like $30, I think. Or I think I've got the receipt right here. Let me tell you, it seems to be complete. If the pictures are correct. $35. Oh, the guy charged me. That's interesting. He charged me shipping that made the sales tax. So I paid $25. The shipping was $7.71, and on $25, the sales tax is $2.29. So that makes it where the order total is exactly $35. So he's a perfectionist. Thank you for your purchase. Good luck with your project. Why, thank you, Greg. Thank you for putting up good quality items on eBay that are exactly... Oh, wow. He made little pieces of cardboard. Remember I said he's a perfectionist? He had this like this. He made little pieces of cardboard so that the thing would get here in one piece, perfectly suspended. What a mensch. What a cool guy. All right, let me pull it out of there. When I pulled it out of the box, it kicked the time side off, the strike side off, and it went ahead and did its thing. Hey, let's do it again. Oh yeah, it's working because it's in the... It was supposed to do that. Well, we know that the strike is at least trying to work. I mean, that's working. It's a shame to take it all apart, actually, but we will. All right, so it's the same movement as our parts one. New Haven Trademark USA. It's complete. Appears well oiled. I'll bet somebody has worked this not too long back, you know. Okay, let's look at our play here. Well, you can't really tell when it's wound, can you? I guess you can push on it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. We got one there, folks. That needs some work. Escapement wheel's moving a little bit, but I can't really get to that one. This one always has all kinds of pressure on it from the spring. But usually you can rock these a little bit. All right, so we got some play there. I can't really show you the back because I want to be careful. I don't want to set it on that gear necessarily. But hey, we'll do it anyway. Yeah, we got some play there. Need a little work. If the back is exactly the same, if it's the exact same piece, you know, we've got that other one that doesn't need bushings, but we might as well put bushings in them. It's no big deal. I've got the bushings. I've got the equipment. Why not do it? Okay, so I'm going to tear it down and clean the whole thing because it's going to need bushings. You know, the strike side isn't as important. Most people probably don't feel that way, but I feel that way. If the strike side's sloppy, what's the problem? As long as it runs, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. I'm sure there's some reason that it matters, but to me, If there's a little bit of slop, like on that side, on this side, I wouldn't fix it because it's going to strike anyway. You don't have the, I mean, I can think of some reasons that it would, you could get in a situation where it won't strike, where it, it's so weak that because whenever you have wear, you lose power basically from the spring. So I don't know. This one has the calendar piece broken off. Our other one has it on it, but we don't need the calendar for this clock. It didn't originally have it, so I'll probably use this front plate. Yeah. Okay, so let me start disassembling it, and we'll take a look at everything laid out, I guess. All right, I got it all apart. So on our parts one, it's missing all of the strike side stuff. I think it's also missing this lever, if I remember correctly. That's going to be probably the hardest part to find. I can order it probably on eBay, but I've got a whole bunch of parts. I've got a ton of extra wheels and stuff that probably are the correct ones. I think you might be able to as well. I'm not positive, but I think if they're slightly different, they might work as long as they fit together on the strike side. So there may be I don't know. They may have made little slight design changes, and if you use the old ones or the new ones, it might work. But anyway, I'm glad I took this thing apart because it's way too greased. Look at all that oil. Someone has just poured 3-in-1 oil on this, and it's on everything. I mean, it's all over the plates. It's just, it may even be WD-40, which is like the worst thing in the world. WD-40 it ought to be outlawed. We don't need WD-40 anymore. People just think since it's oily and you can spray it, that it's good to spray on things. It causes so many problems. It's fine at first, but what happens is it dries, and whenever it dries, and it does dry, they act like it doesn't, it does dry. After it dries, which might take a year or two, it gets all gummy and crap, and just, it does the exact opposite of what you think it's going to do, because it's not really a lubricant, it's a cleaner. So WD-40 is good to oil something if you're using the oil to clean it, but if you're using it to lubricate it, it ain't good at all. Check out these tools I got. So I go to the flea market all the time, and I've been trying to find good made in USA tools. So I found a nut driver set. If you watch some of my previous videos, you know, you may have noticed from time to time I was using a Chinese nut driver, and I was embarrassed by it. I thought I was sending the wrong message to my amateur repair time people. So I looked and looked and looked, and you know, they don't make any in the United States anymore, pretty much. I guess Klein still does. Maybe a couple companies did. But anyway, I wanted something cool. So I found this awesome set of old school Napa nut drivers. And they've got the hollow inside, the hollow shaft like the Klein ones do, which makes them really good to take off nuts because you can slide it down over the post to the nut, you know, if it's recessed, if it's on a long thread. I use them on pinball machines a lot, but these Napa ones are cool. I was really happy to get those. Okay, so we got to clean all this stuff, and then I'm going to look around and see if I've got any. This is the strike side. I want to see if I've got any of the strike side stuff extra. I've got all those sorted pretty well, I believe. So I may be able to look in those pretty quick. So these are the ones that were missing from our other movement. You haven't seen them yet, I suppose. This is would this be called the warning wheel? Because that's the little pin that catches the lever, or it catches the governor. And then when the other one gets lifted up, it lets the governor go. Is that right? Anyway, so that's the last one before the flag, the governor, which is here. They're covered in oil. Okay. And then this one, that's interesting. It's got two cutouts. Usually I think they've only got one. Everything looks good. And this is the one that, what am I looking at here? This is the first wheel, the second wheel. just fine. Sometimes this wheel is hard to tell from the time side. So let's see how different they are. They're completely different on these because it's got that extra gear on the top. Which I think has to do with the hour wheel, the count wheel, I guess you call it. Okay, so I'm gonna clean all this stuff and we'll see how it looks after it runs through the bath. So this is what it looked like after we got it all cleaned. So first off, all the pendulum. So all of these are brass, but this is plated. That's why it dented, you know. So whenever you clean these in an ultrasonic cleaner, you got to be careful with plated stuff. It will take that right off if you leave it in there long enough. So all of this stuff I left in 20 minutes, and I did it in, I think, 3 different batches. And then this I left in, I think, 12 minutes. And it cleaned it up really well. But you can see even there, it was starting to, what it'll do is it'll turn it all black, like the back is. And I don't know if it's just taking the plating off or if it's like an electroplating type process. I don't really know how electroplating works, but it might be doing the opposite of that, where it takes the plating off of this and puts it on something else or something. I don't know, but there's something like that going on. I've had it do it to things. So if you've got something plated, be careful in an ultrasonic cleaner. Okay, so all of this is the movement that had no strike side. It's actually in better shape than the other movement that was complete. But that's fine. Okay. And then here's all the time side. So this is all the stuff that matches all that. So all of that is all of this. And then this is the stuff that we only have one of. But I have a whole bunch of these wheels and stuff that I got. Well, I've picked up in several places, but I bought out an entire collection from a guy's family that had passed away, and he was a hoarder, so he had stuff thrown all over his property, and they had went around and cleaned up some of it, and then others I just grabbed while I was there. They were helping me throw stuff in my truck. I did a whole video on that escapade. if you want to see it, it's here on our channel. There's an entire playlist of clocks we have attempted to repair here on our channel. And there's a video all about that. Well, so because I bought all that stuff from that guy, he had parts all over the place, just stuff laying everywhere. And half put together clocks. The whole place smelled like dog feces, unfortunately. It was a really good video. You ought to check it out. Got some pictures and stuff. Not of the dog feet. I didn't take pictures of that. Okay, I'm just talking. I just took pictures of the clock part. Look, people, why'd you even think like that? So I may have some of this stuff. I've got it somewhat sorted out. So I'm going to go look and see what I've got. So here's what we need if we're going to try to complete this movement. The first thing is there is a lever here. A lift lever, I guess you call that. So the way this works is, well, I can probably just show you how it works. This is the minute hand. And so I think it's, are we under it? I can't remember if we're under it or in it. It might be between it. So as this turns, the minute's turning. You can see the little blade there. It gets to a certain point and it lifts that up. Now, I guess it drops back down. Do I have that right? Maybe we're under it the whole time. No, we're not under it, so I was right. So it's like that. So as it turns around, it lifts that up. Now, why does it lift that up? It's a 30-minute thing. And then it does it again. at an hour. That's what kicks the clock out of warning. So it's put in the warning, and then it's held, and then as that spins around, that lever lifts up the other lever just enough that it drops it out of warning and it starts to strike. So we don't have that piece, although we have the post. So if I could find that, that would be cool. So that's one. The second thing is the actual hammer. We only have one of. And if you look, it has a rubber piece on the end of it. I don't know if that's newer or if that's how it came. You know, a lot of these had leather mallets or faces on the mallet. Okay, so we need one of those. I don't know that I've got that. The entire wheel assembly is missing. You know, may have that. The spring I definitely have. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Count wheel, I've got that. 5. Count wheel retainer, I've got that. 6. Second wheel, third wheel, fourth wheel. 7, 8, 9. And then the count lever. 10. Oh, wait a minute. And the governor, or the fly, 11. So I've got 11 parts here that I need if I was going to complete that one. I think what's probably going to happen is we build up the one, and then I put all of the other one in a box. Maybe I'll reassemble it just so it doesn't get messed up. And we'll put it in a box by itself, and as we find parts, we'll put it with it. But let me go see if I can find anything obvious in the other room. I'll bring some of it in here so you can see what I'm looking at. So I've got about 5 times this many. And so one of the first ones I'm looking for is this, which is the number 2 wheel, I believe. I think has something to do with turning the count wheel. So I actually found one from the guy's hoard stash, but unfortunately one of the teeth is mangled. Might be able to fix that, but I'm not sure. But I believe that's the exact same part. So he did part 1, so maybe I can find the other part. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's got 6 spokes. 6 spokes. Yeah, I think that's the exact same part. Okay, let me keep looking. Well, I looked through everything I got. I don't have the right levers. Got all these levers. None of them are correct for that one or that one. And I did find that one wheel. It's correct, but it's damaged. Now, you know why that happens. It's because if the spring breaks, it'll do that. When the spring breaks, it lets loose very quickly, and it'll knock the tooth off that was meshed at the time. So that's that. I did find a little clip for a count wheel. It's slightly different, but it would probably work. But I don't have that type of count wheel. I've got one that'll work. It's the same size, but it doesn't have the half hours. So this particular one, see how there's 2 of each? That's so that it can strike. So like for instance here, it'll be buried here and it'll go dung, 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 and strike 5 and stop. And then the next time it's released, dung, it'll strike once and stop at the half hour. And then it'll strike 6 times and stop, and then once, and then 7 times and stop, and then once. So it's just it's a half hour wheel. So I don't have it either. So in other words, we're just gonna have to rob whatever parts we need off of that one, which I don't think we need any, but we'll use whatever we have to off it. And that was the setup that came with the pendulum though. And I got that other movement with it, so whatever, I'm cool. We'll use it for parts on something down the road. But this will be the one. So we got to put it all together. We got to fix our dial, and then we got to make sure it runs. So, you know, it's been a long day though. I think we'll wait till next time to do that. And for now, we'll just listen to some music. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think so far down below. Do you think we'll ever get it ticking and talking again? I think we will. But we'll see you on the next one here at Amateur Repair Time.
Ladies and gentlemen, dust-covered circuits sitting on a desk, been lost in time, 50 years of rest, reading schematics and thrifting old parts. One more last week, old board, new sparks, tracing faded traces, vacuum tube blows, get it back to working by the end of the show. Bringing broken gadgets back to life, turning silence into stories, one at a time. We fixing to fix them, easy as can be. Amateur repair time for you and me. Little machine, you carried history, time to trace your path, bring your mystery. From broken to singing, learn, preserve, repeat. Cables, needles, switches, tangled up wires, patient Google searches, pass me the pliers. Tiny clock that's ticking, take care, please start. Brand new capacitors, rummaging